Meanwhile, at Manage Comics, coming to you from a secret underground lair, these dedicated heroes discuss the business of comics, industry news, comic book retail issues, and the latest developments from Manage Comics. They are promoters of comics, champions of small business, and four-color heroes. They are the Manage Comics team. Welcome. It is Brian, and this is Meanwhile with Manage Comics. And today we've got a very special episode. We're going to talk to you about support and getting support and how to get the most out of support. So here with me, as always, is my partner in crime, Ivan Wine. Partner, how you doing?
Doing all right. How are you?
Good. Oh, you're using one of those fancy new the new Apple camera, which looks so good.
Yeah, I'm just tired of using a potato.
Yeah, my ghetto webcam is just like, like if I could just get it to like, yeah. No matter what I do, it seems I'm all blown out in the lighting. I can crank her up or crank her down, and my lighting just doesn't care. So, all right, this week we are going to talk about support. Help, I need some support. And I want to make sure that we aren't picking on anyone. While some of the examples may be taken from real life, they're not intended to be bad examples. It's more like as a person who's been involved in technology for going on 30 years, I learned how to craft a support query so that I get help in the least amount of time a long time ago. And so I want to give you guys those same tools so that you can ask questions, not just of us, but of, ISPs or your credit card processor or whomever. So if you have these tools in your toolkit and you can ask these 3, 4, 5 questions and have these 5 kind of ways to get support, I think it'll improve your support experiences everywhere, not just at Manage Comics. So with that said, let's dive into the data mines real quick. Ivan,
Nice.
Did you hear about Universal?
I did not.
So Universal is a Canadian distributor.
Well, I am familiar with who they are, but not that this is all happening right now.
So in Canada, they offer distribution for Diamond products, Penguin Random House products, and Lunar products, as well as a vast array of other things. So up here in Canada, we can get, like plushies and sports cards and non-sport cards and all that stuff through Universal. And we get really good duty rates because they broker everything through. So we're not getting hit with duty like you do with a Diamond order. And a Lunar order, which has, not quite as good duty deals as what they do at Diamond. They're going to be offering DC. Actually, I think they are now offering DC in the United States. They'll be at Comics Pro with us in a couple of weeks. And we're going to have more details to come. Right now, we have the ability to import their invoices into our system. So that's a big first step. And I'm actually talking with them on Thursday. So I'll be talking with them on Thursday, kind of about what the next steps is, how to get these invoices into the store's hands so that they can start using them, which will be a big help for Canadian stores right now. I'd say about 80% of the stores we have use Universal right now. So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
What do you know about reprints?
Quite a bit. Depends on, much like the help ticket thing we're going into, I need a little bit more information. Where do you want me to start?
I love how Ivan is acting as if we didn't just spend an hour together going through all this stuff. That's great. Oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention.
This is new. This is live. We've not practiced this. What do you mean?
So reprints are not officially supported by the Manage Comics customer interface right now. There's a few reasons behind that, and one of them is there's no consistent reprint information. So Lunar actually does a really good job about saying which printing an item is. Diamond has it in the title, so we have to kind of rely on the title. Penguin Random House currently doesn't have reprint information in their data set that they give us. So we've been talking with folks about how to get better reprint information. It is allegedly in the UPC code. However, because of the way that Marvel and certain other publishers override that code, it's not always accurate. So we're working to figure out how to better do this. One of the ways that we're going to do it is building it off of the title, which is nasty because titles can change and they're not always accurate and they're not always consistent. So Marvel may call it 2ND print, but Dynamite may call it 2ND printing. But, DC might call it 2 print. So we have to take all those into account and hope that nobody changes it by accident at some point. Second and beyond printings are still available through the admin tools. So you can pre-order a customer to a second or third or fourth or fifth print. They do get updated when we get the information twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. So if on a Wednesday, somebody comes in and says, I need a second printing of Blade Vampire Nation #1, and we don't have the data yet, by all means, send a help ticket in, but we're not going to get that data in there until Friday when we actually do our second data pull. At some point, that will just happen automatically, which will make Ivan's life a little bit easier. But in the meantime,
easier.
There we go. Don't forget about Comics Pro, folks. Ivan's going to be on his own doing support for the entire week of February 23rd.
Please do not burn things down.
So that's why we're going through some support help right now to kind of streamline some of the tickets we get in and make it a little easier for us to get your responses quicker and solve your problems faster.
But sometimes I'm slow.
During that period, I will be meeting with fellow comics retailers, industry professionals, and you can still get tickets at comicspro.org. So get your tickets now. All right, our feature story this week is going to be getting better support. So let's just dive right in. Ivan, I'm going to let you handle the first slide. I know it'll be a complete shock to you. You've never seen this slide before.
Oh my God, what is this?
Well, how do you get the best support, Ivan?
You got to give information. Just here's the thing. It's understandable that when you're looking at the problem, you know exactly what you're looking at. So you might leave off, if you're not thinking about it, you might leave off key bits of information that might help. So if you're able to include things like the item number, the UPC, the steps that you've done that have caused the problem to happen, that helps us more quickly narrow down where we should be looking. And where's the issue happening? Is it happening on the customer end? Is it happening on the admin end, etc.? So yeah, what we're going to be covering over the next few steps is just basically how to better send in your help ticket with the documentation that you've already put together and the information so that we can help you help yourself.
Help me help you. Help me help you. Absolutely. That's totally it. And like I said at the beginning of this isn't just for us. This is also to help you have better tools to be able to request support anywhere. So I was giving an example to my wife that when our internet goes down, I usually get fairly good second or third level triage support fairly quickly. And the reason is the very first thing I do is I go over to the box and I take a look. And if the light is red, then I know that there's an outage. If the light is not red, then there's an internal problem somewhere where our DNS is not working or whatever. My next step is to call my neighbors and say, hey, you guys are using the same terrible ISP that I'm using. I almost threw out their name. But are you guys down? If they're down, then I know it's a bigger problem. Then I check about the neighborhood. Is the neighborhood down? There's a site called Down Detector I use a lot. If it's an ongoing outage, I just sit and wait. It's going to happen when it happens. And me calling them is going to do nothing other than frustrate me, because I'm going to be on the hold with the 100,000 other people who have an outage. But if they have internet, then I know that it's something located within. So then I go through my standard troubleshooting tips. I turn it on and turn it off again.
It really, really does help.
Yeah, I run my networking diagnostics to see if I'm missing certain sites or all the sites. I turn off my Wi-Fi on my phone and check to see if I have internet, because sometimes it's just an outage on a specific site. So
the exact IP address for a website and see if it comes up.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, sometimes, and it's only happened a couple times, but I do some funky things with my routing where I use different name servers to get internet stuff in. So it could be just those things, right? Which my neighbors wouldn't experience. So they may have internet because my name servers are down. Knowing which one of those steps it is really improves the communication when
or even knowing which steps it isn't even.
Exactly, yeah. Helps the communication. So those are the tools that we're hoping to give you guys, because there's some very specific things we can help you figure out. It's hands reaching out, touching hands, touching me, touching you. All right, before we get sued by Neil Diamond, 5 tips to get better support. And actually, I don't know if these are 5 anymore, because we were adding and deleting them so quickly that
it looks like it may just be 4.
There could be 8. I don't really know at this point. But really, we want to help you get your problem solved faster. We want to have less back and forth. Every time that a ticket comes back is a chance for that ticket to get lost in the void. And every time it goes back to you is honestly a chance for it to get lost in the void as well. We have 51 outstanding help tickets right now. Of those, 46 of them are waiting on something from somebody other than us. 5 of them are like, we're going to just hold on to this and see if it's ever a problem again. And like, the majority of them are from pre-December 2022. So yeah, a lot of the time it's just you get busy and you forget to respond to that second thing. So if we can triage this stuff earlier, it's better. And we'll have less frustration with support agents. I just see so many times that people say, so-and-so company is terrible with support. 9 times out of 10, you were probably terrible with your support request, if I can be totally honest.
Well, the edited version, there's a favorite episode of the TV show Justified, where the main character says, if you meet a jerk in the morning, you've met a jerk in the morning. If you meet jerks all day, you're the jerk.
It's time to look in a mirror. Okay, step number 1, Ivan. What is it?
You put me on the spot, and
Can't you read a slide? Oh my God, he never learned how to read, folks.
Hey, I had dyslexia. Just describe the problem to the best of your ability. If you can include the name of the item, if there's a specific item, include that. Include where. If it's this example here, the customer name, the product info. If it was a import file that you were using where the error happened, if you can include that, that's awesome. Screenshots are absolutely amazing. In fact, I wrote an entire help ticket on how to do good screenshots.
You're burying the lead. We're going to get to that later.
Well, getting the idea out there ahead of time.
So the difference between a customer didn't get his comic this week and Bob Jones didn't get Aardvark Man number 9 pulled for him when we did our diamond pull, those are 2 entirely different problems. That one of them is impossible for us to solve, and the other one gives us enough nuggets that we can start to look down. Okay, first of all, so if you include that file, the first thing we're going to do is look and see if Aardvark Man number 9 is even on it. When we see that Aardvark Man number 9 is on it, we're going to take a look and see what the code is. And then we're going to look in our system and make sure that code matches, because 9 times out of 10, the problem is there. that the codes didn't match for whatever reason. So if the codes match and we know that it was a diamond problem, so now we can look at which code we have keyed in for diamond, and we know that the issue is that Bob Jones didn't get it. We can start to look into our database without having to go back to you and start teasing this information out.
There's 2 sets of diamond codes in there with 2 sets of dates. I need to remove one line.
And that, honestly, 9 times out of 10 is the problem, right?
And the great thing when it is that problem is that you just fix that problem not only for you, but for everyone else as well.
Exactly. And we've solved that problem now in like 5 minutes instead of waiting for you to get back to us. And it was really busy in your store and you didn't get back to us till 7 o'clock at night. And you had raised this issue at 11 o'clock in the morning. And now every other store has gone through the same problem. And maybe one of them got a hold of us and maybe they didn't. But yeah, this will just get things resolved a lot faster. Number 2, the specific steps to reproduce the problem. So a good example is we hear often, my customer can't log in, or we'll hear my customers can't log in, right? Getting specific with a new customer that I just signed up is unable to sign in with their email address and they keep getting sent to the Shopify login. Instantly, Ivan and I know what that problem is. The problem is you've got a customer who they have a Shopify account, but they haven't associated that Shopify account. So there's a specific page they can go to register and log in that account. It's like a one-click email response. But if the problem is none of my customers can log in, that's a whole other problem. So that problem is, our next question is going to be, did you update your theme recently? Have you republished the managed comics settings? And if the answers to those 2 things are yes, then we're going to say, can you check your Shopify settings and see if customer accounts are required? Because Shopify has been going around and not requiring customer accounts recently. So
they changed to like 3 different options for that now.
Yeah. So we can solve that fairly quickly, but there's 3 different options that it could be that we have changed that we can help you solve it with. So getting as specific as you can really will help with that back and forth. This next one's yours, Ivan, and it's a doozy.
Uh-oh.
Troubleshooting what you've tried.
Yeah, telling us the steps that you've gone through. Have you turned it on and off? Are you missing a step in there that you should be doing that you have accidentally forgotten? Or there's just so many different places where it could go. For instance, one thing, and not calling out anyone in particular, is like, is the problem on the customer view, or is it on the admin page where you're trying to order a book and it's not showing up? That's 2 different sets of data often, and they can both be fixed usually pretty easily, but they're in completely different places.
That's a good point. And because sometimes that data isn't even available on the customer side. So a good example would be reprints. Occasionally they're available. Most of the times they're not. So yeah, knowing that is important. And did you go to help desk and check? So if you usually just type in the words of the problem you're having, login loop is a perfect example. It will actually give you a step-by-step, because that's the other thing. Every problem is a vaccination. So when you have a problem, we write a help desk ticket around it 9 times out of 10. So if people are having login loops, we've written a help desk ticket called login loop, and it will actually explain to you how to solve that on your own. Ultimately, you're going to have to solve it on your own. We're just going to give you the steps to solve that particular problem.
And those links right there point something out. So if you start out by going to help at Managed Comics, we have a great little menu item called status. You click on that and it will tell you the status of our servers.
Yeah. So if we're down, you'll know right away. By the way, if we're down, I assure you, you don't need to text us. We know. Every one of my devices has gone off multiple times. Taras's hearing devices.
And we all have our buckets and we are bailing water.
Yeah.
And we would answer, but we were too busy with our hands full of buckets full of water.
And the only only way that we wouldn't get back to you is because we're all soundly asleep like we were on Sunday night, because it was 12:30 in the morning when everything went down. But we're working on redundancy to stop that from happening in the future. The other one is check Shopify, status.shopify.com. If you're having problems with things like customers logging in that were logging in fine before, check their status, because occasionally customer logins go down. I've noticed it's happening a lot less right now, but over the holidays it was happening quite a bit, which I imagine has something to do with the volume they were seeing. They reported they had massive volume at Christmas, so that's good news, and also something that's going to take them a while to kind of solve. Screenshot is worth 1,000 words. Show, don't tell. So show us a sequence of steps, not just the one screenshot that's wrong. If you can tell us, I went here, and then I went here, and then I went here. If it's something as simple as I went to the orders page and I clicked on a person's name and I got a blank screen. I don't need a screenshot of your blank screen. That's awesome. That tells me everything I need to know. And that one comes to mind because it literally happened this weekend. After our outage, there was a problem on Monday morning that was resolved fairly quickly, but the issue was with the order page on the app, not on the Shopify helper, but believe it or not. So yeah, letting us know kind of what those are. Screenshots are amazing. And that takes us into Ivan's little tip.
Yeah, about screenshot apps. There are a number. Awesome Screen Recorder is the one that I used to use till I switched back to a Mac. But the cool thing is these allow you to take video or stills, and they allow you to take segments, and you can also annotate with you see our screenshots, we'll have little arrows and boxes and extra text and stuff. You can do all of that in Awesome Screen Recorder.
So yeah, Ivan actually put together this little link here, help.managecomics.com/screenshots-made-simple. So if you search for screenshots on help.managecomics.com, that's the article that'll come up, and it walks you through step by step.
And as was mentioned before, this is one of those things that helps in lots and lots of other places other than just here at Manage Comics.
Hey there, Brian from the future here. And as I was editing this, I realized that we have one more thing. So we sometimes get emails from folks and they just come from your email address, which may not be something that we recognize. So if you want to make sure that we get you real quick, include your name, your store, and even your store URL will help. Also, your My Shopify account sometimes helps us, because with Managed Comics itself, we can find your shop in our app listing, but it's sometimes it's by the My Shopify URL. So sometimes those URLs are entirely different. Like, for example, maybe you signed up as Bob's Comics 2016.myshopify.com, but your URL is Jim's Comics and More. So just one more thing, and now back to the program. What help channels are available? So there's a few things you might try. You can try for tips and tricks with fellow retailers in the community, and best for non-urgent things that you want peer advice on, you're going to go to the community. So you can go to either Facebook or Discord. Discord's kind of dead, folks. Got to use it, because we both have Discord open. So if something pops up there, chances are we're going to pop on and respond to it. But if it's urgent help or something that you need Ivan or I to help with, help@managedcomics.com is where you need to go. That's the only place that we're constantly monitoring. And like I said, our devices are enabled to let us know when something's going on. So
the great thing with sending it to help at Managed Comics is all the information is there at help at Managed Comics, and the only other stuff in that is other help stuff. Whereas it's Facebook, you're fighting with 3 invitations to people's birthday parties or concerts or whatever, and hey, I stubbed my toe posts, and your post might fall to the bottom of my list of things going on, and I might not notice it.
I'll be straight up. I I open up Facebook once a day at the end of the day, and I look at the alerts. And if it's an alert that I need to deal with, I deal with it. But if it's 5:30 and I'm about to make dinner and there's a Facebook alert, I ain't dealing with it. Because if it's urgent, somebody's going to reach out to me at help. And I'm just treating anything that's in the Facebook community as something that peers are going to help with. The problem is we've been seeing a number of this is a bug. Okay, well,
this is a serious thing that someone needs to fix.
Unless you're just trying to get us in trouble with your fellow retailers, I don't know why you're posting the bug there. And by all means, dudes, we are as transparent can be. I'm the first one to tell you about our bugs, but telling it to the Facebook community isn't going to get you a resolution. Good things you can use the community for, though, is asking peers for discount multiple items at once, or making sure pre-orders get picked up, or what do you do for your email marketing? Are you using MailChimp or something like that? Looking into other people's POS setups, app recommendations. There's so many apps for Shopify. This is a great place to be asking for and leaving recommendations for the apps, and questions about the upcoming solicits. By all means, I think those places are that is a great place for all those things. And that's kind of what the community was intended for. Help. The order tile is doing a weird thing. Invoices weren't generated for a customer or customers. Your products didn't get created from check-in. Managed Comics is down. All things that you can send help at managedcomics.com, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. I think can you think of anything else? We only did 4, not 5.
That's because we were so efficient.
We really were. A couple of those could have been blown out.
Also, if possible, one of those fell down one of those black hole.
I think they did, most likely.
That's possible.
Well, next time on Meanwhile, we are actually going to talk about the future of Managed Comics. What does the future look like? What are we working on for the next 3 months?
It's so bright that I got to wear shades.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing them right now, but
these freaking lights. I mean, I really do need to start wearing shades. Yeah. What are the industry trends we want to get ahead of? What bigger picture plans do we have? We're going to dive deep, and maybe we'll even get Taras involved. I'll see if I can, pull him out of his programmer hole and help us out. And that's going to do it for this week. So thanks so much for joining. Ivan, thanks for your time as always.
Oh, absolutely.
We managed a tight 30. Tight 30. That's always our goal. And this was a tight 30. All right, folks. Thank you so much. In the meantime and in between time, we're Managed Comics.